It's a pet's life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.
It is Tuesday on the 11 to 3, which means that Des Groom from Gym Dog joins us for A Pet's Life. Good morning, Des, and welcome, my friend.
Morning, Dave.
And
Thank
welcome.
you very much. Delighted to be here again with you.
Trouble is here to help you out today.
You're going to catch me out now and bring me down to size.
I want to start. I'm going to
Yeah.
nominate you.
Nominate me for what?
I want to nominate you to take over from David Attenborough when he retires.
Oh, yeah, actually,
I watched
enjoy
your
that.
video.
But the videos from the zoo.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I have a great fascination with all creatures great and small, as they say, and I love visiting the zoo. I was in the UK at a conference and I visited Chester Zoo for a half day on the way home, and I got loads of little videos from Chester Zoo of animals they don't have in Dublin Zoo, right? And I visit Dublin Zoo a couple of times a year.
I think Dublin Zoo has gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, do you know what they've done there recently? They've put these fantastic dinosaur exhibits and lots of little educational new features.
Yeah, I saw the now. Just to mention to the listeners, do check out Des's video of Des at the Dublin Zoo, because I was fascinated not only by covering the elephants and the snow leopard, but the dinosaurs look brilliant.
Yeah, the dinosaurs are very good there. They're very realistic. Now, and I'm a little bit of a kind of a nerd about paleontology. I've read all the great books that were written by the good paleontologists over the last 10 to 20 years, you know. Remember the one I brought in here to you one day about genetics?
I do.
Yeah, but the idea is that the modern anatomy of all creatures are a blueprint that contain clues to their evolutionary purpose or function. That if you look at an animal, you can figure out what its function was evolved to be, just by the shape of its body and the shape of its teeth and shape of its feet and all these things. That all of us are a product of our environment. And that's kind of the moral of evolution. Survival of the fittest means that you evolve for the environment that you grow up in.
Charles Darwin knew his thing, didn't he?
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to fly in the face of lots of paleontologists and paleontology, and I'm going to say that some of the ways that dinosaurs are depicted, both in fiction, in Hollywood, and indeed in some of those exhibits, even in Dublin Zoo, I believe they're wrong, I believe they're false. So, the Brontosaurus, the Brachiosaurus, lots of these dinosaurs, they're often shown grazing like cattle, grazing like ruminants, wandering around the savannah, eating grass and happily and majestically roaming with their long tails and their long necks and their long legs. But I don't believe that image is correct. My impression of the anatomy of the dinosaurs is that they would have lived most of their lives up to their necks in water.
Get off.
Yeah, because that's the only way, like crocodiles, that's the only way that the tails and the necks would have been anatomically possible, anatomically functional.
You see, my nomination for you to take over from David Attenborough is definitely the right thing to do.
Yeah, they didn't wander around the fields grazing like cattle, because they wouldn't have needed long tails and long necks if they did.
That's true.
So they were in water. That's my reckoning of it.
Well, that goes in with the Darwin theory.
And they were swimmers rather than gallopers. There you go.
There is a program. Well, look.
See, my mind works in mysterious ways, Dave, yeah?
Yeah, well, that's what's... Yeah, well, we're not going in there.
Anyway, we will talk about modern animals.
We will. Now, before we go any further,
dinosaurs.
I forgot to give out the details of how you can get in touch with Des with any of your related questions by way of cats, dogs or pets. 0833 97 97 97. Before we get to look at our listeners' questions, Des, I was doing a spot with the wonderful Yvonne O'Connor on the Green Room.
Yep.
And we had one of our listeners over in Newbridge highlighted the fact that they came across in their back garden a very distressed hedgehog. And we were saying, crikey, it's a pity Des isn't here to help us out. So what could you guide us to do? Or if someone does come across a distressed hedgehog, because we love hogs.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, what you can do is you can ring Kildare Wildlife Trust and you can ask them for advice, and they'll give you a WhatsApp number that you could send them in pictures or a little video of the hedgehog, and then they'll advise you about what to do. There's a few things about hedgehogs. Obviously, they're secretive, they're furtive, they're nocturnal. If they're out and about during the day, then they're not happy. They need to be put somewhere where they can hibernate or sleep until it's night time again. They do cover miles at night. They're territorial, and they wander and they forage. and they hunt, and they cover miles at night.
But they're very slow, Des.
And yeah, but they're a bit like the sloth, as they say. They get about. In a way, the urban and suburban encroaching is unfair on lots of these little animals, be it badgers, hedgehogs, foxes and so on. The way that our housing estates are sprawling into the countryside, it's difficult for these little animals to adjust to that, and oftentimes houses and roads and new houses are along the migratory pathway of foxes, badgers, hedgehogs, who try to carry on and go about their lives and, end up going through gardens then at night and stuff like that.
We were always told, though, that keep away from hedgehogs because there's all fleas all over them. And
there is. You're better off leaving them alone. What you can do is, if you think one needs a little bit of help, and if it's out in the open, put it somewhere under a hedge with it. Just kind of wrap it in a sack and push it under a hedge and leave it. But you can give them cat food because they're omnivores. They eat insects and grubs and things like that, so they will eat meat. Cat food is useful. They eat insects and so on. Yeah. Preferably, the best thing to do is, as I say, contact the Wildlife Trust, get a little video, get some advice about what to do. And mainly leave them alone. The best thing you can do for nature is leave it alone.
Leave it be. Okay, yeah. Good stuff. Okay, well, that was a question I wanted to address with you today. So again, any questions, 0833 97 97 97. Now, you mentioned that our theme this week is the mysterious lives of cats.
Yeah, a couple of interesting stories about cats. So there's a case that's puzzling me at the moment, and I'm going to follow up on it again with the owner. Lady from Kildare who has a little 2-year-old house cat, and the cat uses its litter tray and urinates, pees correctly in the litter tray as it should, but it gets upset at various times during the day, and the anxiety or the distress or the upset or stress could be triggered by almost anything. She goes out to the shop, the cat gets distressed, and it'll pee in the kitchen, it'll pee on her bed, pees all over the place. It can use a litter tray when it wants to, but in response to any little change or stress, it'll pee randomly all over the place. So, has all the hallmarks of kind of separation anxiety, more like a dog would have, which have been very unusual for, as I say, a 2-year-old cat. And I'm struggling as regards, for the moment, I've put the cat on, would you believe it, stress medication.
Get off.
Same as a doctor would give a stressed out person, right? So somebody goes into the doctor and they're getting chest pain, they're getting panic attacks, they're burnt out from work, blah, 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 whatever it is. The doctor will give you a pill for stress. I've had to put this cat on the same pill. Would you believe it? And the difficulty being with doing that, though, is because these medications are designed for people, we can't predict exactly what the effect is going to be in cats. So what I am doing with regards to trying to help with this particular little cat is trying to figure out whether the cat needs company, maybe another little cat in the house. And the next thing we're probably going to try is we're probably going to try these plug-in pheromones that we talked about before, which are supposed to produce prolactin and oxytocin, that are calming hormones and that are supposed to have an effect on calming the cat's brain. So that's an example of a cat behaving badly in response to stress. And you see, the first thing we do in those cases is rule out a medical problem. So we examine the cat physically, and the cat's in perfect health and looks great and has a lovely weight and has a lovely shine on her coat, the whole lot, right? And her urine is perfectly normal. It's a good colour, it's a good level of dilution, there's no glucose in it, there's no infection in it, and we've done blood tests and the bloods are normal. So this is a healthy, clinically normal cat, and the signs of excessive piddling all over the place, excessive urination around the house, stress response.
Wow.
And we have to figure out what to do about it. So a cat behaving badly due to stress.
That is a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
There's a guy on the TV show called House, and he loved having those
Dr. House.
Yeah.
Dr. House.
I
think I'm a bit of a house myself. Do you know the way House has the board and he writes everything up on the boards?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do that too. I have the boards in the house. Yeah, I have the boards all over the surgery. And I have a team leader there who's in charge of the gym dog side of it, Ella, and she said to me the other day, you're a bit like House, you know.
And you loved it. I know you did.
Jesus, is that what it is? Right.
My dog loves to drink seawater when we're on the beach. Is that good or bad?
No, that's not good. No, it's probably just a little curious sort of a lick, and finds the taste a bit strange, and it's more a little bit of exploration or exploring. Hopefully, the volume of seawater that the dog takes in wouldn't be much, because obviously any amount of extra salt can be poisonous. So hopefully he's not taking too much on board. If you need to bring bottles of water with you when you go on your excursions. That might be the way to go. And distract the dog with a bowl and a bottle of water.
Right.
And give him a drink.
Okay. And another one here, Des says, what is it? Oh, yeah. I like to jog.
Yeah. Good.
But have heard that taking my dog with me is bad for dogs. Is that right?
Depends on the breed of the dog, and it depends how good a runner you are. Now, if you're just a person who likes to do 3 to 5k at a leisurely 9 to 10 minute per kilometre pace, your dog, any dog, would be well able for that and enjoy it. Now, if you're a proper runner and you're talking about 10k at 5 minute pace, then that's too much for a dog, and any excessive years and years or months and months of that will cause wear and tear in the hips of the dogs. And certain breeds of dog that are prone to hip dysplasia, if you're bringing your dog habitually on 10k runs with you, your dog will have hip dysplasia by middle age.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here's one that says, hi Des, my Daxter is looking like she produced milk breast, not pregnant. Is it phantom?
Yeah. Yeah, undoubtedly. So that's how she was probably in heat 1 to 2 months ago, and now there's little bits of hormonal changes going on and abnormal cycling, and you have phantom pregnancy or pseudo pregnancy going on there. There's a medication for it, a 5 to 10 day course of a HRT, a hormone replacement syrup, liquid we have to give her for that, for phantom pregnancy. So your little dog needs to visit the vet, listener, and have something done about that.
So thank you to Alan Beale for that. Thank you, Alan.
I know Alan, yeah.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Speaking of running, actually, Alan's a very good runner. I ran loads of marathons in my 30s and all the rest of it when I was a young man.
Last year.
When I was a young fella. Not last year, for sure. I've had 2 hip replacements, Dave.
I don't believe
No, I
that.
have, yeah. Yeah, I have, yeah. Falls off horses and jogging and running and competitive sport, yeah.
And how are you now?
I'm not bother on me, but I've 2 metal hips. Yeah. Yeah. Alan Beale there, you mentioned him there in Newbridge. Many's the 10k, 10 mile run I did on the Curragh with Alan years and years ago. Alan was a good jockey. He rode for Dermot Well for years, and he's a hell of a runner. Now, Alan would be like a 3-hour marathon man. Yeah.
Alan, lovely to meet you.
Yeah. A legend in Newbridge running circles.
What about this one, Des, from Mike B? Can I use my dog's flea product on our cat?
No, because the dosage will be wrong. It'll be too strong. And if it's too strong, it can burn your cat's skin.
Oh.
Yeah, so if the dosage is incorrect, is too much for the cat, then the concentration of it going onto the cat's skin will be too much, and it will burn or irritate the cat's skin.
Okay.
So go and get a cat one, and keep the dog one for next month for the dog.
0833 97 97 97 for any of your questions, animal, pet related, for our Des. Do you have any other mysteries about these cats, by the way?
Tell you another nice story. I had a family in during the week, and we did passports for a German Shepherd called Cosmo and for the family cat. And you see, they're going to live in Cyprus. And the family dogs, family pets, family and cats, they were having passports done. So they had rabies vax, and we checked the microchips, and we filled out the pet passports and all the rest of it. And we talked about how the cat would adapt to moving to Cyprus, right? A lady was very interesting, Maria, and she said, she said in Cyprus, cats are kind of, they're sort of sacred. A little bit the way cows are sacred in India. So there's a cultural thing there that they love cats, they won't harm cats, and there are thousands and thousands of semi-feral cats roaming the streets in Cyprus, and people feed them and look after them, and they won't run them over, and they give them right of way on the roads, and everyone kind of looks after these stray cats, and they're minded because they're revered. It's a cultural thing that they regard cats as sacred.
I never knew that.
And there's 2 reasons for it in Cyprus, right? It's due to the influence of the Egyptian Empire going back to pre-Christian times, because the Egyptians had cat gods, and the Egyptians worshipped cats. And the reason the Egyptians worshipped cats is because cats were very useful in Egypt for keeping rats and mice away from the grain stores.
They really had a function then.
So they really had a function.
Yeah.
So they looked after cats, and it was a kind of a cultural thing in Egypt, and Cyprus would have been part of Egypt's sphere of influence, and at one stage was kind of an Egyptian colony. So this sort of probably worship of the Egyptian cat god became a thing in Cyprus, and that's why they look after cats really, really well. And then, when Cyprus became Christian, right, the Christian missionaries, very, very clever, the way they cemented Christianity, as happened in Ireland. What they do is to impose a Christian custom or a Christian idea onto a pagan idea. So the priests decided that the cats were desirable, not for pagan reasons, but because cats hunt snakes. And they decided that snakes in Christianity, being the reincarnation of the devil, you see, being the reincarnation of evil, they decided that it was a kind of that they would adopt cats as a Christian motif, as a Christian mascot, because the cats were doing Christians a favour by hunting the snakes.
Oh, well, listen.
Isn't that clever?
That's genius.
Yeah.
Very clever. Well, it brings me nicely to this question for you, right?
Yeah.
Because over the last month, now I don't know whether the weather had anything to do with it, but there have been reports of snakes, little snakes, in parts of Ireland, most recently in Meath now. So maybe St. Patrick's sainthood will be revoked.
Okay.
Okay. You come across a snake, Des, a little thing. What do you do with it?
Well,
how do you handle it?
Right, okay. Again, the best thing to do would be the Kildare Wildlife Trust. They're the Irish Wildlife Trust, I think they are now these days. They would have a national presence. WhatsApp, little video, little picture into them. Someone in there will have a good old look and be able to tell you whether that snake is safe to handle. More than likely, to be honest, if it's a small little, sort of 9 to
grass
15,
snake
little grass snake,
yeah.
little harmless grass snake that you can pick up and put in a box and bring into them. More than likely. What I'd be interested in finding out, and I've never heard it before, because in the south of England, probably areas, very much in the south of England, there are grass snakes in the wild in Britain. But
still, like now.
Yeah, not in Ireland. So if you're saying to me that snakes have been spotted on the grass in Ireland now, is it to do with climate change, that we now have a little bit of a wild snake population? That'd be a very interesting development if that was the case. Or is it just that occasionally the odd snake has escaped from captivity?
Kind of privately bought and then gets out.
Yeah, because of course there are plenty of little pet snakes around, and they do get out.
Can you remind me of a price to groom a cat, Des Groom? She's old, and you gave her just a little anaesthetic the last time.
Yeah, sedation groom probably be about €100, because you'd have to give her a little bit of sedation, and then you'd have to have a little mask there giving her some oxygen while the groomer is doing her job. So it's probably going to be €100-ish because of the sedation stroke anaesthesia issue.
Can I microchip or chip my dog? Should I microchip my dog?
Yeah, should. That's the law. All dogs should be microchipped.
Are they? Is it?
Yeah. However many years ago, I don't know, but it's actually legal.
It's compulsory.
It's compulsory. You have to have a dog microchipped, and you can't sell a dog online. By the way, the websites won't allow you put a dog up for sale without. There's always a box on the website where you have to input the microchip. So they're making it so that it's essential, it's necessary, it's compulsory to microchip a dog before you sell it. Every pup is microchipped nowadays. There are still the occasional older, not pedigree dogs that are still not microchipped, but anything to register online or with the Kennel Club or whatever has to be microchipped.
I've learned a lot today, my friend.
Yeah. And the chip has to go into the passport and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, my friend? Because I've got
microchipping's not expensive, by the way. Microchipping's
what
€30 each, but it's about €30. Microchip, fill in a form, and then the dog is registered online as yours, and you're the owner of it, and it's traceable back to you forever. Same goes for cats. Now, we probably don't microchip as many cats as we should, because cats in Ireland kind of live this sort of semi-outdoor, semi-indoor life, but it's also a really good idea to microchip a cat and register it to yourself. Had a case last year, maybe it could have been 6 months to a year ago. Somebody brought a cat into the clinic, an injured cat. They'd picked it up. It turned out to be fine. It just needed to rest and be fed and all that. And they said, it's a stray. It's been in my neighbourhood for a while. And we checked it for a chip, and lo and behold, it was microchipped, and it belonged to people who lived in Kildare town, less than a mile from where I am. And it turns out the cat had gone missing 6 months earlier.
Crikey.
Yeah. They were delighted to get their cat back.
One final question, Des. Average lifespan of a cat?
They're living up to 20 years of age now, would you believe? Yeah.
And what
upwards of 20 years.
Was it a lot less?
It used to be a lot less, 12 to 14. But premium nutrition is probably the single main reason why longevity, life expectancy has improved so much in cats and also in dogs. Premium nutrition. So really good pet owners now take the trouble to look for the right food, the best food, and spend a little bit extra on the premium diets. And that will ensure, you see, that cardiac, liver, kidney, all these organs function better for longer. So that's longevity is nutrition and longevity. That's the whole thing.
David,
the link between
Attenborough incarnate. Des, you're a star. Thank you so much, my friend.
You like the story about Cyprus and the cats?
I loved all the stories.
Is that a good one about the cats? Yeah, cats in Cyprus, cats and snakes.
Come here.
Cats hunt snakes in Cyprus. Imagine.
There's more next week.
Right,
Des,
okay.
Thanks a million.
Yeah, cheers, Dave.
It's a pet's life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.